Ladies and gentlemen, this is the motivational supercharger of the 21st century. Kevin T. Robertson, America's leading focus expert here at Howard University's bookstore for the release of the book MANology by Tyrese and Rev Run. It all goes down big, baby, right here on the Kevin T. Robertson Show, where we're bringing the world into focus. 1, 2, 3.
MANology! Rev Run and Tyrese!
Somebody say H-U! It all goes down big, baby, right here on the Kevin T. Robertson Show. We're bringing the world into focus.
Coming out this afternoon for our book signing with Tyrese and Rev Run. They're going to be doing a book signing and pen discussion with Dr. Carr and discussing their book MANology, Secrets of Your Man's Mind Revealed. Afterwards, only guests that have a book will be allowed to get in line, and if you would like a picture taken, please have your phones out and ready.
We thank you again for coming, and we know that you have some questions and everything prepared. We will take those questions afterwards. Dr. Carr will assist in that. Again, I want to thank Rev Run and Tyrese for being here. And ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Rev Run and Tyrese.
All right, so we all know why we're here. Folks have ADD. Going on because we started talking before that voice. Are we good? We good, right?
The way it happened was we at the end of every Run's house, Rev was in his tub sending out the words of wisdom and the bubbles and all that. And but what I didn't know was that the emails or the words of wisdom that he was sending out was actually something that could go to your BlackBerry or your iPhone, whatever. And so when my boy told me that he gets these words of wisdom from Rev Run every day, and that you had to go to a particular site and put your email address in there to get added to the list, I jumped on board. And so after like a year of following Rev and getting the words of wisdom every day, he sent out a word about cheating, being faithful, and this whole thing. And I didn't actually agree with something that he said. And so I didn't think that he would actually read or get my response, but I responded to the email and he replied. And I was at the crib like, this is crazy. Rev Run just got my email. I'm glad I wasn't cursing or nothing. It's too much. So we exchanged emails for like 10 minutes. Then I said, call me, man. I would love to talk to you about this. He's like, all right, cool. I'm going to call you from a blocked ID. And in my mind, I'm like, he's probably trying to make sure that this is really Tyrese. And that's well over 4 hours. It's probably like 4 hours of us talking. We wasn't on the same page about most of the stuff we was talking about, but at the end of the conversation, we cracked a joke. It was like, yo, it'd be crazy if we ever wrote a book together. Something like, I beg to differ. And long story short, this is my best friend in the whole world. I talk to him 8 to 10 times a day. What I know of God, on the level that I know of God now, is because he goes above and beyond to show me. And so we decided to write this book, MANology. So that's it.
Thank you, Brother Tyrese. Rev Run, you want to add anything to that? He told the story. Good look. All right. So now, clearly, and as you all, those of you who read the book, just came out, I guess, the release was the 5th. Those of you who will be reading it, you'll find that you're right. This isn't one accord. It's very provocative. In fact, in the opening page, it's 8 chapters. You talk about, you refer to the brother as like a hip-hop Bill Cosby. And there's a back and forth in each of these chapters. I'm going to just talk about a couple of them, and then, you know, obviously you all shape it to how you want us to have this conversation. The manipulator. Are they out there? What does that mean? And what are the signs of a manipulator, brother?
I'm sitting right here.
Read the book. It's real. Please.
The definition of manipulation, not from the dictionary, but from the definition that I'm aware of, is being able to get people to do things that they could never see themselves doing. It's a form of manipulation. And so you may say, I know I just met you. You ain't got nothing coming. And y'all know what I'm talking about, ladies. But the man will say, I'm gonna get it. You just don't know it, you know. You got these godly manipulators. They talk about God every other word, and they're trying to create the comfortability in you to give up the ass. That's just what it is. So, in my mind, I'm a work in progress. I'm trying to figure it out. And, you know, this is something that probably should be in our next book, but there are plenty of manipulators that know how to get in the presence of a man and get him to buy the car and put the $1 million wired into the bank account and all the above, because they got they pimping and they strategy so tight it's crazy. If I want to get some attention, I just got to wear this dress. I know that all the NBA players going to be at this club this night, and I'm going there with a goal and a mission in mind. So they're doing the same thing that a lot of guys is doing, most guys are doing. They're just, you know, I say this all the time. Deadbeat daddies exist, but deadbeat mamas exist too. Deadbeat daddies are just more popular.
Well, for me, women, when they're looking for a guy, I think about the book of Ruth in the Bible. And in the book of Ruth, the young lady is tending to her field, and then King Boaz comes into town, and everybody's, oh my God, look at the great man coming into town. And all the women are doing that, but Ruth is still on her job. She's doing what she's supposed to do as what her job was, and she ends up attracting Boaz. And it reminds me of Beyonce. Jay-Z, I remember being some years ago, we were at the Soul Train Awards, and Beyonce was in rehearsal, and he pointed like, yeah, man, you know, she looks good, whatever. I didn't know him or her that like that, but he just mentioned it. And then years later, I saw that they were dating. But in my mind, like the book of Ruth, I know she was on her grind. She was singing and practicing, because we know how hard B works. And I'm sure there was some days where Jay-Z would call, and she'd be like, hey, Jay, out of breath, like, you know, I'm just getting these dance steps together. Well, I'll talk to you later. I love you. Please, you know, whatever she was saying. And in my mind, I know that's like the book of Ruth. That's sexy to Jay. Like, I'm here, and at that time he was the president of Def Jam, doing my job. I'm trying to get in touch with you, and as I'm trying to talk to you, you're interested, but yet you have your own world. And many women try to get a man before they create their own life, before they love themselves. You can only have love when you love yourself. You should only bring a man in your world when you have a world. And if you don't have a world, you'll end up chasing the man and chasing him away because he doesn't see. And it's not just being Beyonce. You could be a social worker, you could be, you know, kindergarten teacher, whatever it is you're in school, whatever it is you're doing, make sure you're focused, that when he calls, that your life, you have a life. I'm not saying that you don't want to date. You're not playing a game. You just really got to get to class, or you really studying for a test. But when you give too much of yourself away, too much of your focus away, it's not that attractive. And then on the other hand, you can't be so focused on your job and so career driven or so whatever that at the end of the day you become intimidating to a man. So it's a perfect balance. So in my mind, for a woman to really attract a great relationship, create your world and then bring a man into that world, and it'll all work out.
I think the best way to change, if I can just ask for everybody to stop talking to the person that they're on the side of, that would be beautiful. I got ADD, and I want to reach my thoughts, I promise. And if your phone is not on silent, and every time you take a picture it's clicking, even that's going to mess with my brain. If I'm just asking that, please. Thank you. I love you much. So I think changing a man is something about changing a man in the eyes of a woman, if that's what your concept is. It's very condescending because you're saying I'm gonna change you. It has to do with like, I'm gonna change you because you're not as good as me, or I'm gonna change you and I'm gonna fix you. It's very condescending. I think what you want to do is change your approach. And the approach should be, I'm going to love you from where you are. I see you have certain shortcomings. I know you ain't figured it all out, but just maybe you're a duplicate of your father. This is a learned habit. You don't know how to treat me because your daddy didn't show you how to treat your mama. So you're really just doing the best you can. My mama got beat up every day in front of me. My mama was an alcoholic for 27 years. She's been sober for 6 years. Nothing about my childhood is comfortable to talk about. It was rough. My daddy is still a crackhead. That's what I know of them. Holidays come around, birthdays come around. Don't call me. Don't come to my crib. It's called Merry Christmas, not Miserable Christmas. That's my life. Rev has changed my life because he became a form of answered prayers, because he came in my life to now be the family that I've always desired and longed for. His wife, Justine, Angela, Vanessa, Diggy, they're my real family. It's not a gimmick. We didn't write this book because we were bored and needed the money. This is real. Family, trying to expose, pay it forward, give ladies and men the heads up about what's around the corner before they get there. So basically, that's it. Show me what love is. And don't assume that I know what love is because I'm 21 and older. Don't assume that because I'm a man that I even know what respect is. How can I respect you if I don't even know what it is? Like, let's go back to the basics. Why are you talking to me that way? Me talking to a woman this way is normal. So how can you be mad at me when this is what I was raised in? When you're raised by wolves, you're a wolf. When you are raised around dysfunction and abuse and being condescending and evil and mean and disrespectful, it's normal for you. And so when a woman comes in your life and she's trying to treat you like the world, trying to be there for you, trying to hold you down, trying to be like everything, you don't even know how to appreciate it because you're not used to it. So you figure out a way to run it away. That's it. I had to find out what it was to respect a woman and not just look at her as sex or an object, or look at a woman the way a woman wants me to look at her. So the concept became, we're going to clash, we're going to bump heads, we're not going to be on the same page. And y'all may be thinking, he's difficult. But what he's doing is he's struggling with this new reality that you're trying to show him. It's like a little kid trying to write. What does that mean? What do you mean you want me to sit on a potty? I'm used to boo-booing on myself. This is normal for me. What do you mean you have a problem with my boo-boo dripping down my leg? Like, make me understand what you're talking about, mama. And then you're saying, sit on the potty, because boo-booing on yourself, little boy, is not normal. And then you're like, I wake up, it comes out. This is normal, mama. What are you talking about? You're saying sit on the potty. So then this is what happens. When you introduce your child / man / wife / woman / girlfriend into new concepts, you have to now celebrate them after they start walking a different walk. Like a little baby sitting on the potty, you don't tell the little kids sit on the potty, and then when they sit on the potty, you're like, oh, he's sitting on the potty, you walk away. What do? You stand there and be like, yay! Look at you! Look! And then everybody comes out of their rooms and they standing over the little boy who is now using the potty. The little kid wasn't interested in using the potty until you introduced him to the concept of using the potty, because there's a better way for you to go about shitting on yourself.
You share some moments in the book that talk about your transitions. Right. And interestingly enough, the place of honesty that you all share, that have this conversation, this unfiltered conversation, for you, wasn't a point of origin necessarily. I mean, you know, I think about Can You Rock It Like This? That's what was going through my head when I was reading about you in this tub.
Right.
What choices did you make to reach
We ain't talking
this
about the
space?
tub y'all talking about.
Nah.
He's talking about me at the height of my career, my top being my bottom. How this collar really got wrapped around my neck. I don't know how many people in this particular room know about the origins of Run DMC, but as we performed and became this explosive rap group, I was out of control. So this scholar comes from beyond NWA and Ice Cube and all that. I was ill, crazy, and that record Run's house wasn't about my house. The record was about me cursing out LL, Fat Boys, whoever's in my way to make sure that the Madison Square Garden was my house. So that record was flipped, made nice because I got better, and it had a double meaning. Run's house was when I get to the place, get the hell out my way. We getting ready to do this, and I'm going all out. So my realization came when one day I was, we were like #1 on the charts. It was a huge time, and I had interviews when I landed with Rolling Stone magazine, and I had been to LA before, and I got to LA, and I called my management. We was on tour with LL. I was like, yo, make sure we get the presidential suite because there's only one in the hotel. So cool. We set that up. So I had the presidential suite before anybody else. And then I was like, remember that chick, that bad chick? Make sure she come to the room. Remember the weed, the green weed, the indica weed? Make sure that's in the room. The dude that gave me a haircut, I'm not going to the barber. I'm running. Send him to the room. That Rolls Royce that I want to rent that was across the street, have that come to the room. I get in the room, I call for the French toast. Yo, send the French toast. So I got everything coming to the room because this is how I'm rolling. So I'm sitting in the tub, because I'm trying to get it all at one time. I'm sitting in the tub, and I'm smoking the weed, the ashes is falling in the tub, the syrup is falling in the tub, the chick is knocking at the door, the Rolls Royce is knocking at the door, Rolling Stone is knocking at the door. I'm like, oh, man. It came to me and hit me as a realization, and I started crying because my top was my bottom. I felt empty, and I didn't know how to handle it, so I began to subconsciously push all that away. I sent some people away, did my Rolling Stone magazine, and that was my transition of becoming the Rev. I didn't know I was becoming the Rev, but God gave me so much so soon, and becoming from the hood, from Hollis, Queens, New York, my job in my mind was to make sure every MC's out my way, make sure we doing the Garden 3 nights in a row, to make sure that my gangster was really right, and I kind of pioneered that thing that you see with Ice Cube and Snoop and all that. That was me. That was Run. They wore the black after Run DMC wore the black, and that was my realization. And then when I went to church and started seeing African American strong pastors and men of God, in my mind, nobody could see it. I was like, that's the new route for me. This is the after rap, this collar. So what you saw on MTV was a man that transformed himself after years and years of being in church. And some people would see me, whether it was, whoever, rappers, like, wow, Run's changed, you got a collar. This is before people saw the MTV show, and nobody really got it. They knew I was making a transformation to turn my life around, but they didn't know, and neither did I was going to transform it into something that was tangible for people to see, like a Jay-Z, like a LL, that this is the new route. You should marry Beyonce. You should get with your wife, L. So my new transition was another pioneering effort that God put on me to not only run a church, because I don't run a church, but to give images to African Americans in the world of this is how you take care of your family. This is how you do it. So when you saw the efforts of Run DMC explode, I put that same amount of effort into raising my family and putting those images out in front of you, because my walk had to be bigger than my talk, and God gave me that pulpit of MTV.
Thank you, brother. And in a few minutes we're going to transition, so folks who have questions, we're going to do some of that. Just want to continue.
How long is this?
I think y'all going to sign books probably about 3:30, 3:15.
What's the next thing we got to do after this? Like, how long?
Yeah, oh no, that's what we're going to do.
After the conversation, we're going to
No,
questions.
I just don't want to leave.
Okay.
I feel like I'm in my living room right now.
Perfect.
I might want give me some clam chowder or something. Get my shoulders right.
definitely at home, brother. Y'all know that. Y'all definitely know that. So, interestingly enough, we got a chance to talk just for a few minutes, and but Tyrese, you mentioned a couple of pieces or chapters in the book that have gotten more attention than others. Before we get to the question of putting a ring on it or not, I do want to ask. This was a point of kind of disagreement, and there are a lot in the book.
It wasn't purposely.
Oh no.
We didn't purposely disagree.
No. It's honest.
It wasn't an antic like, yo, you know what to make the book sell? Let's disagree on everything.
And I'm gonna tell you, brother, honestly, given the spate of relationship books, that's the first thought that I would have as an academic. Okay, are they marketing something? But I'll say, and I'll tell this to all of you all, in reading through this text, what clearly comes out is this developed organically.
Right.
These are two brothers who genuinely have deep love and affection for each other, who disagree on certain points, but I don't think your range of disagreement is any more or less than any of our ranges of disagreement, if we're being honest. So yeah, I thank you for saying that. It's absolutely true. The question of marriage. Rev Run, you say that all men want to be married, they just don't know it. And
very true. I say that because I've dealt with a let's just say a rapper. I'm not gonna put any names out there, and he saw my life, and I'm on the road influencing him as Rev Run. I was out there, and he was still doing his thing with a bunch of girls, and at the end of the concert, putting them in cabs, sending them home. And I just said, being the Rev, I said, man, I bet that girl's in a lot of pain. And I heard him really low say, what about me? And I was like, whoa, what about you? So you had sex with her, you put her in the cab, I'm worrying about her feelings, thinking that you just gangster and happy that you just said sex. But you said, what about me, under your breath? And I know I heard you say that. And I just let it go because it was a big shot. I'm like, whoa, what about me? So in my mind, you're saying you're in pain because you're not married like me and you're trying to get your life together and you're in pain when you're running through all these girls. And what about you? So I say that guys, as they get older, once you're finished, because the Bible says when you're young, you do foolish things. When you get older, you put these things away. But as you're transitioning and you see these older guys who are still the playboy, you notice the word boy, you don't want to be the playboy. And there's no such thing as a playman. So since there's no playman, you're still a boy, and you feel like a boy when you're around a Rev Run or Barack Obama or Jay-Z who's transitioning correctly. You start to feel foolish and you start to feel pain because just hitting every chick is not sexy no more. Now you feel silly in your not transitioning. So yeah, I believe that most men, as I'm in a really, I'm an older guy, so I'm in a different season of my life. So I didn't think like this in my earlier days. But again, first I wanted the weed and I wanted all these things, but as I got older, either I was going to put those things away and transition from Run to Rev Run, or I was going to be in a lot of pain, and I'd have been like, what about me?
To add to that, I've said this before, and I talk, like what y'all will see when y'all get into the pages again is I don't hold back, and I'm not ashamed of my story, my life, the things that I've been through, put myself through. You'll see that I'm not in the book playing the victim. A lot of people running around playing the victim. You choose that dude. 15 dudes tried to talk to you that day because of that outfit you was wearing. What made you give him your number? So now you running around complaining about him. Or fellas, same with you. Baby mama crazy, dog. That shit, you left it in. You took the condom off because it felt better without the condom and left it in. Take more responsibility for the first step. That's what I'm on. So when y'all read the book, it gets very uncomfortable. Now I've also said, I've said I've said this on TV. I'm keeping it real. If you got a weak stomach and you just want to live in oblivion, and it's like I would rather not know. The book ain't for you. I ain't trying to, of course we want to sell, but I'm not. My goal is not to like sell ridiculous monies for the sake of money. Because if I really wanted to make money, I would only do movies. That's just so we clear. Let's be very clear. But for me, I just have this urge. Anybody who follows me on Twitter, you'll see that I have this urge and responsibility to speak on what I'm feeling and thinking. Because for me, at this point, it's like, what does being an influence mean? All of these ladies that are here, in my mind, I'm just keeping it real. I hope the screams never go away. But what does it mean at the end of the day if you're not trying to make a difference in your views and your perspectives and the way you think or go about things? If you leave here the same person that you came, then you just another person showed up to scream for another celebrity. It doesn't mean anything. So going back to what Rev was saying about the what about me and the rapper putting another girl in a cab and then probably scheduling 2 or 3 more to come to his room that night because he's just active and taking advantage of all these chicks that he's got access to. I know all about that. I was the ugly kid, ugly as ever, never heard a compliment, and my accolade was I'm going to be the loudest, the craziest, and the funniest dude so that I can get some kind of attention. What y'all gonna give, I'm not holding back. If y'all ain't grown like me, then you just leave. I'm keeping it 1,000. So when I did my Coke commercial, all of a sudden, I'm handsome. All of a sudden, I'm cute with a big old smile. I got teased about my smile. I never forget when I was like 8 or 9 years old, this dude said to me, he was joking, he didn't know that he made me cry. What? What? Like everybody just calm down. I would love for him to come to the front. But this is what I'm saying.
That's all. Just chill now. Come on, it's how. Oh, no. Right there. That's right.
Okay, so we good. So I was saying for me, when I was like 8 or 9.
What? For real?
It's good. That changed energy. We're going good. Tyrese got to talk to us. It's chill. I don't run. No price. You can bring it all the way right up here. No doubt. But you know,
I'm just saying. I mean, I don't really want nobody talking while I'm talking. And if you got something to say, then come on up here and say it and stop interrupting me, pimp. That's what I'm on. So let me finish what I'm saying.
if I come,
When I was like 8 or 9, I never forget these dudes was joking. And the dude said, because he's talking about my teeth, he was like, dog, your teeth are grown. When is your face going to catch up to your teeth? And I was like, I probably cried for about a week and a half or 2. I was the dude with the beady beads in my head. I was just ugly. I was ashy all the time. I was doing bad. I know what broke is. Like, you talking about, me and Rev was laughing at me yesterday. Like, my mama made me go to the Social Security building and play retarded so we could get Social Security checks. We talking about county checks, food stamps, getting the kicks with the free milk. We was almost excited that my sister was having kids because we would get the little WIC vouchers. Like, my shit was real. So what I'm getting at is I know what ugly, broke, and dysfunction is on all levels. So you're telling me that all of these girls is screaming and giving me attention? The ugliest, brokest, grimiest dude on earth in Watts next to Compton? Hey, guess what I'm going to do? I'm finna have as much fun as I can. I'm finna get as much out of my system as I can. Think of it as like the ghetto Cinderella that just got past 2 pair of glass slippers. They're gonna take the glass slippers away at some point. I'm gonna be able to say that before they stop calling, screaming, and checking for me, I lived it up to the fullest. So thinking of that dude that put the girl in the cab and saying, "What about me?" At a certain point, I got there. I got that feeling that I'm in bed with another model, another video vixen, another sexy chick that she couldn't try to be ugly if she tried. But I feel alone.